You ever have one of those brilliant ideas that just sits there, stuck on the launch pad? Well, today, we are tackling that exact problem, procrastination, the silent killer of our biggest ambitions. And in the next few minutes, we're going to unpack a really powerful system to turn your goals into actual action, starting like right now. We've all been there, right? You get this amazing spark of an idea, and you immediately tell yourself, okay, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day I start. It's such a frustrating cycle. But here's the good news. It's not a personal failing. It's not because you're lazy. To break the cycle, we first have to understand what's actually going on inside our own heads.
So let's start with what's called the procrastination paradox, because this isn't really about willpower. It's about biology.
Okay, so check this out. Procrastination is basically a tug-of-war inside your brain. On one side, you have your limbic system. Think of this as the ancient, impulsive part of your brain. It craves immediate reward, that instant dopamine hit you get from scrolling your phone or watching one more episode. It wants comfort, and it wants it now. On the other side is your prefrontal cortex, the logical planning part of your brain. It's the one saying, hey, we should probably work on that big project. Procrastination is just the limbic system winning that battle. Simple as that. So, how do we give our rational brain a fighting chance? Well, we can't just throw more willpower at it. That almost never works. We need a bigger, better weapon. And that weapon is a really powerful, motivating purpose. I love this way of thinking about it. It's like an iceberg. We're all chasing productivity. That's the part of the iceberg we can actually see above the water. But real, lasting productivity is built on this huge, invisible foundation underneath. It starts way down deep with your purpose, which then tells you what your priorities should be. Only then do you get those amazing results. Without that deep why, we're just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. So, how do we find this big, important purpose? It doesn't have to be this huge, mystical journey. Let's make it really simple. First, just jot down a few activities you're passionate about, things you just love doing. Don't overthink it. Second, list a few outcomes you're passionate about, things you want to see happen in the world. Now, just circle the number one thing from each list and link them together. Something like, my purpose is to create this outcome by doing this activity. Boom! That simple sentence becomes your compass. Okay, so having a purpose is like having an engine for your car. But to get anywhere, you need to know where you are on the map. The strategy you need to move forward depends completely on where you're starting from right now. And this is that map. It's called the Stages of Change model. It's a roadmap for pretty much any transformation. Are you in pre-contemplation, where you don't even really think procrastination is a problem? Or maybe contemplation, where you know you should change, but you're not really committed? Figuring out which stage you're in is so important, because you can't just leap from stage 1 to stage 5. It's a step-by-step process. Let's talk about one of the most common places to get stuck: contemplation. This is the someday zone. You know you should do something, you can see the pros and cons, but you're just not quite ready to pull the trigger. If you hear yourself saying things like, I should really start that someday, that's your clue. Just recognizing that thought pattern is the first step to finally moving on. Okay, now we're going to put these pieces together. We're going to connect your big, motivating purpose directly to a single, tiny action you can take right now. This is how we completely collapse the distance between that someday goal and today. I absolutely love this metaphor. Think of your huge, life-changing goal as that last massive domino. It seems impossible to push over directly, right? But what if you lined up a whole bunch of smaller dominoes in front of it? All you have to do is just tap the very first, tiniest one. That little tap can set off a chain reaction that topples the biggest goals you can imagine. So how do you line up those dominoes? You work backward from the future. It's brilliant. Start with that huge someday goal. To get there, what's a realistic 5-year milestone? And to hit that, what's the 1-year goal? Now bring it even closer, this month, this week, until you land on the most powerful question of all. Based on all of that, what is the one thing you can do right now? That's it. That's your first domino. Okay, so you've got your purpose, you know where you are on the map, and you've identified your very first step. Now, let's load you up with a few super simple, super powerful tools to make sure you actually knock over that first domino. Whenever you feel stuck, just ask yourself these 3 simple questions. They come from coaching expert Michael Bungay-Stanier. First, what's on your mind? Just get it all out. Then, and what else? This one digs a little deeper. But the real magic is in the last one. What is the real challenge here for you?
This question has a way of cutting right through all the surface-level noise to find the actual roadblock.
This method is over 100 years old for one simple reason. It is brilliant. At the end of your workday, list the 6 most important things you need to do tomorrow. Then, rank them in order of importance. The next morning, you don't think, you don't debate. You just start on number 1, and you don't move to number 2 until it's done. It's genius because it completely eliminates decision fatigue right when you need your energy the most.
And to protect that critical number 1 task, you use time blocking. You don't just hope you'll get to your one thing. You make a non-negotiable appointment with it in your calendar. You treat it like a meeting with your most important client. And you live by this rule. If you absolutely have to erase it, you are required to replace it somewhere else that same day. Period.
This quote just nails the whole idea, doesn't it? Success isn't about one giant heroic push. It's about finding your purpose, identifying that single domino, and then just consistently, day after day, making those small efforts. That is how you build something extraordinary.
So, as we wrap up, I'm going to leave you with that question. Forget about next week. Forget about tomorrow. Based on your biggest, most important goal, what is the single most important thing, your very first domino, that you can do in the next 5 minutes? Go figure that out, and then go do it.